Put a smile on your face when you're moving.
Good morning, viewers. It is 7:19 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. Yes, we oftentimes wonder, and we know those of us are with children or connected to any young persons in the school system. Ever so often, we have the occasional challenges when we speak about school lunches, whether it's going to come in the first week, it's not going to come in the last week, what's the menu options and choices. This morning, we have on with us Janice Walker, nutrition coordinator within the Division of Education, Research and Technology. And yes, she's going to tell us all about the fact that the program and the unit is much more than just about school lunches being provided by way of contractors. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Mr. Skeet, and morning to Tobago, and morning to all the staff out of the Division of Education, Research and Technology.
As we get the conversation started this morning, we want to start off by looking at your area in terms of the nutrition program within the Tobago House of Assembly. Tell us a little bit about, the aspects that this entails. As I said, persons most times probably is just known for a particular area. And outside of that, you think, we have no use for nutrition. Tell us a little bit about the areas that are covered within the unit.
Okay, within the nutrition unit, we have officers, we have the staff there. And as you said, they only think of school lunches. Our unit, we provide a lot more than school meals. We are there to assist you, FBOs, NGOs, each and every one in anything that you wish to partake of. Presently, we have an etiquette program going on within all the schools or as much schools as possible. So we are not only focusing on supplying a box lunch to school children or the needy. We are involved in every aspect of nutrition and outside of that.
I want you to tell us as well, in the context of ensuring that there's a balanced diet provided for persons when these meals are provided, because again, people think that it's random. Tell us about the process that goes into that, the determination of what might be an appropriate menu, so you know that there's that balance in terms of carbs and so on.
Okay, we have a balanced menu. We have a 5-week cycle that we work with, so it's rotational. And we plan the menu, and we work closely with Dr. Joanne Cruikshank out of the community nutrition. She's the senior nutritionist there. So we have a balanced menu in the sense that we have all the food groups involved in the menu. But mind you, we only cook chicken, fish, and vegetarian because of our cosmopolitan state. And we have Seventh-day Adventists, we have Muslims, we have different religious background in our school. So that's how we serve the meals with chicken, fish, or a vegetarian. And the meals are very balanced.
Is the program still limited to lunches only, or it's extended to cater for different needs during the course of the day?
We have a breakfast program. We have the breakfast program and also the lunch. So it is not only a lunch box. We have a breakfast program that we are involved in also.
What's the reach been generally among our schools in the Tobago population to be able to continue to meet that need as the nutrition unit?
Well, we cover all schools from nursery right up to secondary. We used to feed DERTECH, but they no longer exist. But we do the ECCs, primary school and secondary school. And in the primary school, we supply only the breakfast program, only supply the primary school. And the lunch program, it encompasses the entire school population in Tobago.
All right. Tell us a little bit more about I know you mentioned the etiquette training program. Who is that targeted at in terms of the reach?
We target from ECC right up to secondary school. And now that C is over, SEA is over, we have a lot of schools. My officers, we are on demand because the teachers have the tendency to take their children out to dine. So they would ask us to come and give a sort of crash program so that the children would be able to eat with the knife and fork. But we have started our program from nursery school so that when the time comes and the C is over and the children would like to go out to their fine dining, they are already prepared.
What are some of the areas you hope in terms of, prospects and additional components for the development of the unit in terms of its contribution, on that Tobago or the national scale?
Well, in that aspect, we would like to see what you call a nutrition committee. And why I say a nutrition committee, I just came back from the Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo, where I went to a conference for sustainable development in school feeding, where we had countries from Latin America and certain Caribbean islands. And with that, you saw where we have growth. I must say school feeding is here to stay. It is worldwide. It is an important aspect. It is an important component of any government. So with that, I would like to see we would like to see a nutrition committee which involves teachers, the community, persons in the community, and students, so that they can have a say in whatever is happening in the school nutrition program.
What would be your advice for parents and guardians in relation to the preparation of meals outside of what is provided by school? Because you have some children that make the comparison. I get a good meal here, but when I'm home, it's a different kind of story. What's your general advice and guidance for parents when it comes to, the preparation of meals so that you really try to keep that healthy eating as consistent as is possible, or as far as your pockets may be able to afford, because we know it's not cheap at all to eat healthy?
Well, what I can say is, firstly, get the children involved. Get the children involved in the sense that you make them part of the cooking at home, so that they can see what they're eating. They would know about the preparation. And it's important that you have maybe a kitchen garden. And with that kitchen garden, they would see how the food is being grown. So grow what you eat what you grow. So they would be involved and they would say, well, Mommy, I saw this in the school meal program, we got this. And it is not what we are getting. So I would like you to I would like you to take me in the kitchen and be part of it.
So you've just touched on my next question. Plans, or if it isn't already existing, the connection between nutrition and the elements in terms of schools actually operating gardens. And so for example, I've been to St. Patrick's, and I know a few of those schools who have an active outdoor happening there where they encourage students. What's the connection with that in terms of between the nutrition unit, or are there any plans to ensure that that becomes part of the production line?
Well, it is already there, because Tobago is very heavy where the 4-H is concerned. And you have a lot of schools with school garden. So once the children are involved in the school gardening, they would use their produce from the school garden and incorporate it in the breakfast program. Because we have schools that do their own breakfast program. So the children would be very, very excited to know that they would have planted something and it is part of their breakfast program. So they are going to be excited and they are going to eat it. So with that, we would like the farmers to be involved. And when I say farmers, I don't mean farmers out there, farmers, the little children in the school with the 4-H, with the garden. So it is from farm to table. So we don't pressure them to say, well, okay, we have something that you have to do. What they produce in their garden, it is produced in the breakfast program. So they consume what they grow.
Excellent. The comparison between the quantities for the breakfast element versus the lunch. Is the breakfast a smaller quantity really targeted at those who actually need, or is it the same kind of quantities that would come in terms of lunch? So we want to give a sense as to whether or not parents should see it as across the board, I just have to stop making breakfast, or is it really targeted at those who, have more challenging circumstances?
It is actually targeted across the board for those who have more challenges. We don't want the parents to stop, because that is a family thing where you have unity, where you eat together. So we don't want to stop that. And we would not be able to supply each and every household or child with a breakfast. But there are some children that would come, we know their status, their socio-economical status. So with that, we would be able to supply them with the breakfast. The school feeding program, we supply 1/3 of their dietary requirements. So you would have your breakfast and you'll have your lunch. So that's where it's at.
Excellent. Tell us again, for the benefit of parents and so who may be wondering, in the circumstances, who do they check with? The division to put their information, or the actual school through the relevant principals in terms of having access to, especially the breakfast component?
They have to go to the school. The schools are in charge of that. The schools, the principal would look and say, well, we know that the child is definitely in need, and they are going to do it. We have a certain amount that we supply for the breakfast. There's one school in particular where, let's say, the school is a big school. It's a very large school. And that school, the principal would go beyond the call of duty and give more breakfast than she is supposed to supply to the children. So most times, the children are so excited, they're happy with the breakfast, because our school feeding program, our lunches are fantastic, our breakfast, it is great, but breakfast is the first meal of the day. So you find now a lot of children would go for the breakfast, because sometimes they leave their breakfast at home and go to school for our breakfast program. It is fantastic.
Tell us the connection, for the persons who are not as aware and probably mixing it up, the connection between the nutrition unit within the division and the school nutrition that operates out of Canaan. Is it connected? Is there a link?
When you, there is a link.
Right.
The link is the Tobago Nutrition Cooperative Society. They are one of the stakeholders. They are one of the caterers that would provide service to the division that supply meals for the school feeding program. So that's the connection. The Division of Education, Research and Technology, School Nutrition Unit, we are solely responsible for the supplying of meals to all the schools throughout Tobago. So the caterers we have, like the Tobago Nutrition Cooperative, they are a stakeholder in it. So we employ them to supply a service.
And the current reach in terms of approximate high schools and primary schools, you can remind us of those numbers. I'm not sure if you know it offhand.
Yes,
but the reach in terms of high schools,
serve over 11,000 school children on the island for the lunch program. For the breakfast program, we serve over 2,500 students.
And based on what you're saying, that's opportunities created for several caterers and not just one in the Tobago space.
That's right. We have 17 lunch caterers, and we have approximately 52 breakfast caterers, because we have 42 primary schools in Tobago. And as I told you before, breakfast is only supplied in the primary school. And it is nice that the Tobago House of Assembly, Division of Education, Research and Technology, there are schools out there who supply breakfast. So they do their own breakfast and they can get their own finances.
All right, and schools, you're hearing it loud and clear. The unit is also available to provide the requisite training in your downtime during your school terms and so on with the relevant information. Any other critical information you would like to share before we conclude this morning's interview?
The School Nutrition Unit, we are not only involved in supplying meals to school children. As I said, we go to FBOs, we go to NGOs, they call for our service. We assist any school, anyone that needs us for etiquette program. We do training where cooking is concerned, and we cover as much as possible anything that has to do with dining, fine dining, training. We are out there. Our staff, we are well qualified, we have the expertise, we have the knowledge, so we go out there and serve the people as much as possible.
Contact information for the unit. I'm seeing a message coming in. Contact information for the unit for persons who want to seek out those services. And I know this individual is a part of an NGO.
Yeah. 2990781, that's the Division of Education number. Our extensions are 3123, 3124. You can call anytime. You would be able to get us. Or if you don't want to call, you can visit the unit.
One other quick question that's coming to mind: the monitoring mechanism at the relevant schools, in terms of, as you said, these are outsourced to contractors that provides the meal. What's the monitoring mechanism on the part of the division and the unit to ensure that, one, the relevant commitments are met, and two, more importantly, the quality is something that is maintained? Is there random spot checks? Are there officers placed throughout Tobago?
Yes.
Just tell us about the monitoring mechanism.
We have 4 zones. We are divided into 4 zones, and we have officers that go out. We monitor the caterers, we go to the schools, we look at the wastage, we look at the quality that caterers would supply. So we do spot checks, we just drop in on the caterer, and we know that they must obey our menus. So our officers, they go out and they do their spot check, their quality assurance, to make sure that everything is intact, and the food, they are prepared under strict hygienic conditions.
If persons have concerns, can they reach out to the division, or are they advised to reach out to the principal within the schools?
They can reach out to the principal. They can reach out to the division. The officers visit the schools regularly, and the caterers. So they can reach out, because once you reach out to the principals, they have their concerns, they contact us, they contact the officers, and we deal with it accordingly.
All right, so thank you very much there. Janice Walker, Nutrition Coordinator, joining us here on set for the Tobago Updates morning show. And I see Janice is charged in her very bright yellow. Would I say that's the victory T-shirt?
Oh, yes, it is the victory T-shirt. And this morning we have a charity fundraiser brunch at the division for a staff member. So we have a brunch this morning. Excellent. So we are all in our charge of T-shirts.
I also want to use the opportunity to send out commendations. The entire team, Janice, Ethne, Yearwood out there, Assistant Secretary Orlando Koo, Administrator Diane Baker-Henry, Secretary Zarisha Hackett, and the entire team out there. I was particularly impressed in terms of the lineup as we went through the recognition of Down syndrome and that awareness, and the division going one step further. It's not just about wearing your sock, but they had an entire, what I describe as a collection container made up the shape of a sock, where you can, as you visit the division within the next coming months, to make your contribution. You want to just remind our members of the public very quickly?
Yes, we have a Down syndrome. We have a socks there that you can come. Once you visit the division, you can make your contribution. And within time, we are going to take it around to various schools. You would be notified which school we would be with our sock, and you can make your contribution. And come next year, we are going to make a presentation to the Down Syndrome Society.
Excellent. Thank you so much again. And commendations going out to the Division of Education, Research and the Technology, the entire team, leadership and staff, really seeking to go above and beyond. So thank you so much, Janice Walker, Nutrition Coordinator, for joining us here on set this morning at the Tobago Updates morning show. Viewers, we want to thank you so much for your continued love and support. A quick shout out, Maurice Gordon, Toussaint, Cherise Wright, Anthony, supporter from day one, here with us at the Tobago Updates morning show. Cleon McPherson, Gemma James, Auntie Dornette Dempster in the mix this morning, Godfrey Moore, Kerry also on the lineup with us this morning, Roger Stewart, Lincoln Scotland, Kuki Melville, Lisel James. Good morning to each and every one of you, and we want to thank you for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. And this is our opportunity to remind you, this is your chance to share the live, share the live, share the live.